Hello and welcome back to Podcasting as Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm James, my pronouns are they and them.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine are he and him.
And I'm Alistair, and mine are it's and too hot.
What temperature is it where you are right now, Alistair?
The thermometer in the room I'm in says 29 degrees.
So that's gone up since.
Yes, from all the hot takes that we had just binned off in the previous recording.
Oh,
James, you've got the fucking nuggets, don't you?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I do.
Are we skipping right over like the fucking exploits of Namor the Submarinara? Are we?
No. We'll have a little. We'll have a little detour into the realm of the submarine because everyone loves closure, right? Especially when it's incredibly rapid and so instant that you don't have time to perceive it. So we found out that the
Total annihilation in 30 milliseconds or less.
Or your money back. We found out that sub gone. The people inside
because it was
Fury.
woke.
The sub was
right.
That was a. There are articles coming out about that now, about how this is all woke culture's fault somehow.
Because he didn't hire like war crimes guys. He specifically said he didn't want to hire like ex-military people. He wanted young people, a young, diverse like bunch of people working in his office because they were more inspirational than Whitey McWar crimes.
I mean,
critical race to the bottom theory. Is this anything?
I just love every single like tiny detail that has come out about this like god awful venture has just been something else on top of something else. Like the fact that they used carbon fiber for the main pressure vessel, the fact that the carbon fiber was deemed out of date by I think it was Boeing.
So actually we have to issue a correction. At time of recording last week, we were under impression that the carbon fiber was actually decent grade and was the only good part of the entire... No, total horseshit.
It was decent grade. It was decent grade. And what we actually said about it that was a thing that was quite interesting and was the real-time monitoring system used to measure the pressure against the hull, which would have let them know just before the thing caved in that it was going to cave in. Which is
enough time to go, oh no.
Just enough time for one final whelp.
But I tell you what, as it turns out, it was originally like some kind of aircraft-related frame that Boeing had made, and it was out of date, and he got it for cheap and was bragging about getting it for cheap because it was past its shelf life. Which is just absolutely spectacular.
It's like an old Peter Kay bit about how you never know whether you're supposed to use carbon fibre that's got green bits on it.
I saw someone tweet that they knew someone who did like I think it was their PhD or their master's thesis on carbon fibre, and as soon as this person heard that this person said that as soon as they heard that this vessel was made mostly from carbon fibre, they would have absolutely not got the fuck in.
Yeah,
I mean, I also wouldn't have got in knowing that there was carbon fibre, yay or nay, because, I don't get into the idiot's Coke can, but hey, if carbon fibre makes a difference to you, fine.
They held the door on with 18 hand-tightened bolts.
Yep.
And they would regularly not tighten the 18th bolt because it was on top and it was difficult to reach. So I'm even more standing behind my theory that the toilet fell off is what killed this submarine.
I mean, it's quite possible, but I will say the hand tighten part isn't a problem there. With proper ratchets, that's like how you actually get an accurate pressure seal. But...
all right, thanks, Mythbusters.
Yeah, what can I say?
They need to fucking bring Mythbusters back for this specifically.
We've just got to hand it to the guy who built this fucking submarine out of Meccano.
I tell you what, if like his namesake Jamie would like to take part, then I'm quite happy to arrange for a trip to the bottom of the fucking Marinara's trench for him. Anyway, it was a good it was a good week, and all we can say is that turns out someone knew the whole time. Turns out the US military heard the sub implode and then just sat stum about it for 3 days as chaos played out across all the networks, etc.
There's nothing the military likes more than an excuse to run around like in a panic pretending they're important.
Can I just excise an intrusive thought here? Extremely Peter Kay voice. Pelagic dead.
Nice. Very nice.
But yeah, I bet every single member of the Navy just sprinted right past the big like sub-explosion detector machine that had like lights flashing on it and a little siren going just on the way out the door to like pretend they're in fucking international rescue. They just like, it's like cops. They just love antics. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Well,
you don't see it as often because it's a much rarer event, but it was basically the military equivalent of when you look on the news and there's one car going up a highway in America with 40 police cars chasing it, and it turns out the guy driving is like wanted for a parking ticket or something like that. You know, they just love a chance to be involved.
He's probably also driving like a Reliant Robin, but no fucking cop car can go after him because they're weighed down with like 8,000 kilograms of lead and armor and all kinds of horseshit.
Yeah, every single one of them's like, what if you tried to make the Batmobile out of a fucking, like, I don't know, Pontiac or something?
In their defense, much like a rocket ship going up, they were weighed down by less lead as they went on. So, it's kind of, there's some design to it.
I do like how people keep asking if like if anyone's gonna recover the bodies, and like officials keep having to find diplomatic ways of saying what bodies.
I'm sure there's like
crabs enjoyed their soup.
Yeah, the bodies are now in the official Kerplunk zone of the ocean.
On the subject of just like
imagine being like a deep sea crab and you're just there minding your own business, and then suddenly you get obliterated by like a fucking like 3,000 mile per hour jet stream of fucking like liquid billionaire.
First that pipe and now this. Crabs just can't catch a break.
Yeah, no, okay. So the one thing I will say is, did you guys see that wonderful video that went round of the recovery of a wreckage? Well, not recovery, but the finding of a wreckage. And someone managed to do a pitch perfect edit where they just put a fucking computer game controller just in the sand amongst all the rubble. I love it. That is like a testament to like the mood of our times, I feel. And speaking of enduring testaments, can I continue on to another dipshit who's recently resurfaced?
Is it Jesus?
Well, Liz Truss has been back in the news. She felt it now is the right time to speak up and say how she was personally very upset by all the lettuce comparisons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good for her.
Sorry.
Yeah. How bad? What's next?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, what's next might be Liz Truss, because apparently some Tory MPs are now looking at the potential to bring Liz Truss back after becoming concerned about reducing Act's approval ratings and lack of mortgage help.
Yeah, I mean, one, do it, but also, no, she won't.
Yeah, but again, what does it matter? Do you know what I mean? Like, who cares who gets to wear the biggest clown nose in the circus? Like, I'm sure my fucking life will change noticeably depending on which dipshit's currently running the country into the ground.
Well, if worst comes to worst, we can just get another lettuce, I suppose. And on the continuing kind of theme, we touched there on mortgages and how there's little help for the housing market. Same thing applies elsewhere. Did you guys see this article that went round from the Daily Mail entitled "Swollen Eyes, a Hunchback and Claw-Like Hands, Grotesque Model Reveals What Remote Workers Will Look Like in 70 Years"?
Oh, I was going to say, finally the podcaster is seen.
Yeah, it was a fucking, like, someone at a fucking, like, an office furniture company got hold of, like, Blender and made a troll, and then everyone went, holy shit, like, this is the future revealed to us by the power of computing.
Yeah, furniture at work has revealed what home workers could look like by the year 2100, and it's not a pretty sight, says the Daily Mail. So, like, right out in the opening,
2100, they'll all just be like fucking, do you know what I mean? Skeletons bleaching in the sun.
We should all be so lucky.
But I mean, what could possibly be driving this? Oh, what's this? Is this Fortune magazine? Yeah, it is. Finance, real estate. The office real estate crash will be so sharp and deep that Capital Economics thinks office values are unlikely to recover by 2040.
Good.
Yeah. So, according to Capital Economics, office occupancy would fall between 7 and 8% by 2025. vacancy would rise markedly and remain elevated through to 2030, and this would result in a 20% decline in portfolio incomes at minimum.
Good.
That was a previous one.
Suck it.
Who? Did somebody get addicted to other people's money, etc.?
Yeah. What's great is they have updated. They think it's going to be a 35% plunge. And so, as a consequence, all the billionaires who are invested in commercial real estate are fucking panicking.
Well,
and
what they should do is get in a submarine for sympathy.
Exactly. They should take all their wealth, turn it into lead ingots, and then go into a submarine.
I think what would be like really funny is if we decided, right, we need to kill more billionaires with submarines, and we just made copies of that submarine but filled them with cement and then launched them out of a catapult.
Le Madame Subnapult? What would that even be? I suppose it doesn't matter. They'll still turn into puree at the end. So, and I mean, it's the fundamental problem basically is people are refusing to go into work because they'd much rather stay at home and listen to their podcasts.
Yeah.
And speaking of podcasts, I think
if you give people the slightest choice, they'd rather not spend like fucking 6 hours a day on the fucking bus just to like, you know what I mean, do
look
nothing.
at bad screen.
Yeah. Just to sit around pretending to work because like their job isn't real.
Yeah, I can easily sit.
I've got bad screen at home.
Yeah, I can much more easily sit around pretending to work at home.
We developed the technology to have bad screen on your person at all times. You don't need to commute anymore.
A brilliant vision for the future.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of harrowing visions of the future, I think
are we excited for fucking Thursdays or Fridays, depending? Like fucking big announcement from the Physicists.
Oh yeah, let's park for a second.
They finally exported jiggle physics to real life.
Yeah.
Well, I love this because previously, like, they didn't make a big fanfare when they found the Higgs boson, but now this time they're making a big like.
Was that even missing?
Well, they had.
I didn't even know it was there.
Theories. They had theories that it existed, and then they finally substantiated it.
I was going to say, that was kind of the problem.
It was just there doing its own fucking thing, and then these idiots turn up. Well, look what we found, and it's like, what do you want credit for that for? You didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm firmly on Team Higgs boson here. Like, don't perceive it. It clearly didn't want to be perceived.
Just leave it the fuck alone. It's got things to do. Fundamental things, apparently.
I do wonder what they're going to reveal this. Like, they posted it along with an image of a black hole, so I bet you it's going to be something incredibly
They've found a way
boring.
to let us all hear the Gmod sounds when you fall over.
we found the first white hole.
It's gonna be something ridiculous like they've like fucking knocked one decimal point off like a number involved in gravity or something like that. The entire planet should be bracing itself like for the amount of people on Twitter going, "What is that it?" Because they all hoped it was aliens or some shit.
Yeah, unless they've changed maths to make it so that there's money in my bank account, I really don't give a fuck what it is they've found.
Michael Caine's figured out how to make his like fucking NASA office fly like in that fucking film. It's too hot for my brain to work. You know what I mean? I'm like remember the name of that film that Michael Caine was in? It's like, fuck you, you got Michael Caine, that's all you're having, like. I can't even remember the name of the fucking dickhead who died. What's that guy called who did all the Batmans?
Would it be Christian Bale?
No, Christian Bale was Batman, Nolan. The guy that directed Christopher Nolan. Thank you. Oh, right. Maybe it's a tie-in with that new fucking film about the guy that invented bombs or whatever.
Yeah.
The
one that's apparently so serious that everybody who saw it has like not stopped crying and wetting themselves since.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm really enjoying Jamie Madlibs here.
I just can't. I cannot be like Barbie's going to be the better film that comes out of that weekend. Let's all be honest. Like,
yeah.
Christopher Nolan should stick to making films about what if like cars went backwards or some shit. He's not cut out for serious biopics, like.
I don't know. I think I'll probably see it just because they're killing Murphy in it, and it seems like it could be pretty fun.
He obviously just wanted to make a very big explosion and film it, and just had to do a lot of other shit to justify it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you just want to put Cillian Murphy in a hat, you could. There are cheaper ways to do this. I'm reasonably sure. Just get him down on Cameo. I'm sure he's on there.
this is just another event in a long line of events of Christopher Nolan's war against IMAX speakers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, everyone comes out of that film crying and, like, fucking can't speak because it takes their brain 6 days to work out what everyone was saying in the film.
Supposedly, he got on a big rant about how, CGI is being used too much, and so he's not used CGI for the film, which, given it features the detonation of nuclear weapons, you have to fucking wonder.
It's called auteur cinema, maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with Christopher Nolan having a nuclear missile. That's fine.
There's going to be like Lord Baron fucking dialogue that carries the entire like weight of the film on its shoulders that happens at the same time as the nuke going off.
Yeah, it's open time
with no sound, like no sound mixing whatsoever.
Oh, fuck's sake. If James Cameron is allowed a ridiculous submarine, I think it's only fair that Christopher Nolan is allowed nuclear weapons.
Can you imagine? He would absolutely sample that shit. And
Luke Akers doesn't know how he feels about this.
Well, okay, dragging us vaguely back into the realm of other man-made horrors. I think we need to have a chat about the monetization strategy for this podcast, because I'm afraid we're really falling behind.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, do you know, one of the most popular genres of podcast is the true crime podcast, you may be aware.
No.
And
the genre that's driving all women everywhere crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, you got it in one, because we, there's been some real innovations.
Is this really where we're going with this? We're missing a vital opportunity to make money on this podcast. We could be scaring women.
It's an untapped market for us.
Listen, anything to stop them from shopping.
Well, no, it's been, we've seen some amazing innovations, because we've combined genres, we've used multiple.
What the fuck do you mean genres?
Well,
it is a genre. Am I secretly also a true crime podcast? What?
Yeah.
I mean, with the other financial stuff you talk about, maybe.
If you want to have your fucking Matt Ford joke of the episode is, what if the UK was a true crime? Badoom.
But no, I mean, they do things like they combine with like arts and crafts podcasting and like video.
What? Wait. Am I supposed to
that these podcasts are going to be like the podcast equivalent of those insane TikToks where it's like some fucking woman having like jumping up and down on a bunch of weird fruit, and then like a harrowing video about like how South America was
I love having a podcast that's like 50% harrowing murder and 50% 15 tips with baking powder you didn't know you could use.
If you leave a hard-boiled egg in vinegar, it gets bigger than before.
Proposal, right? We could pivot to an arts and crafts podcast. As James is talking about the CIA, you take your pins and your string and you move it across the board as James speaks. May come back, thought so.
Nah, I'm just sitting here and I'm just thinking, right, I really need to do the CIA episode at some point. Anyway.
What funded all about?
I'm gonna cross over my cooking pod show with my true crime, or I'm just gonna boil my victims or something. But all right, crossover event. Do go on. Tell me more about how I can make money with this online medium. It's by telling every one of our bastard listeners to fucking subscribe to our patreon.com/practicecast.
What you need to do, Rob, is you need to sell them. You need to sell them the essentials of making their own murder pack, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking...
Jamie, I edit this out every fucking episode.
What, me telling our bastard listeners to subscribe to patreon.com?
No, Jamie explaining how to create a murder pack.
So what a murder pack is it's a little kind of folio which contains important documentation, like a copy of their fingerprints, a sample of their hair with follicles,
names, addresses,
a list of enemies.
Pictures of them and their major features, such as tattoos.
Their major features, not their minor features, though.
No, just any distinctive tattoos, that kind of thing. a recording of their voice saying some standard stock phrases.
Yes, a podcast. That's in the standard murder podcast murder crossover event. We sent you a murder podcast to listen to while murdering.
I like how this murder pack sounds like what you would want if you were the murderer, or like what the cops would want if you were the murderer. Like, I mean,
that's the idea. That's the idea. The idea is you put this pack together, and then when you get inevitably kidnapped while like going to Starbucks or something, it's all ready, so your family can just hand it to the police, and the police have all the reference material.
But this just sounds like if you were the perpetrator of the murder.
The police have everything they need in order to frame you for several crimes they couldn't solve.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, who killed Mavis, but they did the world a favour.
Subscribe now to our Patreon tier so we can ship you James's DNA.
Oh, that's
what in the absolute fuck?
Don't make it weird.
I just
regretting this fucking nugget, aren't you?
very much so.
When we sellotape this bit onto the bit we recorded last week, the difference in energy is going to be fucking amazing.
Podcasting from across time and vibes.
Yeah, exactly. It's another podcast crossover event. That's what we need.
Yeah,
Us X us.
It's like Tenet. Pod goes backwards.
Well, listener, if you want your CIA conspiracy come, apparently, then just subscribe to our largest tier.
Blast those ropes right across the corkboard. Oh, fuck.
I got my at-home pack of murder as I opened it, and there's only a small plate inside. What could this all mean?
Finish the nugget, please.
See, that's how you kick a joke to death. Just like fucking...
So the other thing they're doing is they're crossing over with a... I really don't even want to finish this now, but fuck it.
No, dig up.
They are crossing with AI deepfakes and creating AI deepfakes of true crime victims, explaining how they were killed.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, there you go. Bet you're feeling bad now.
No.
I feel fucking amazing, mate.
So yeah, you know, when I said we were leaving monetization options on the table, Rob, I really didn't mean like that.
This is what you get for bringing it up.
Oh, my fucking chest hurts. Can I have the afternoon off?
No. I don't have anything to support. Was that the last nugget?
Yeah, no, it fucking is now.
No.
No, you
Come
need
on,
one
cross
more.
us over into another nugget. We could do it. If I can swipe my AI ass into the next podcast, into the next nugget.
Well, fortunately for you, Rob, I did actually have one more nugget which I can use, so fuck it, since you asked for it specifically. Finally, it turns out that AI is doomed. Good news. The happy ending has been unlocked.
It was never real. This is just like some never existed, so I'm perfectly fine with its doom.
What happened? Was it true crimed?
No, it turns out that the AI generated models...
This podcast can send you a pack with a lot of pictures of AI looking sad, and then you can figure out your own murder mystery.
What the fuck? It's just lots of pictures of dog faces. What's going on?
Do you know that? Right, actually, sorry, I'm doing a Tenet. I'm going back a minute. Do you know there actually is like a true crime subscription service where every month they send you details of a cold case, for you to attempt to solve? Like,
I've seen that. Yeah,
it's absolutely fucking demented.
Yeah, you can subscribe to our Patreon. We guarantee that we will murder one of you every month to create more true crimes.
Spoiler alert: the first murder will be me by me.
Well, no, AI is apparently doomed because the models are now they're being fed their own outputs as like training data.
Yeah,
which is causing them.
I thought this was going to be about the monkey photo.
Right,
What?
sorry, hang on, fucking what?
Yeah, you know that fucking monkey that took a selfie of itself like years ago.
Oh yeah, with the green monkey.
like,
yeah.
Oh no.
Peter tried to like fucking like sue that the monkey deserved like all the money, and it ended up with a court ruling that like only humans can like own copyright on a photo.
Mm-hmm.
You can't copyright an image that was created by a non-human. So all AI models like that are doing art now, the art's like basically like free to use.
I mean, there may be legal shenanigans with that, but what I'm specifically talking about is the fact that AI models are now being trained on their own outputs because people they're posting the garbage online, which means that future scrapes of online data are becoming worthless.
It's the data equivalent of like the radiation sensitive equipment having to use metal from sunken ships from 1931 before the 1930s and 40s, right?
Yeah, they use on Elementary.
This episode really is like fucking Tenet, because we're going back to Oppenheimer now. I'm just, okay. All
right, so the AI centipede is a bad idea. All right, that's
no. The AI centipede is just regurgitating its own shit, and it's causing it to devolve in really weird ways. Because what essentially happens when you run this? Oh no, it's the opposite of that. It's like before it makes the hands. It makes the hands that it originally did look positively human in comparison to what it's coming up with. Because what happens when this runs is it exaggerates all the blemishes and weird tics of the AI model, and they just get more and more pronounced and strange. One particular text model just started inserting random umlauts everywhere that no one could figure out why.
Because it liked Motorhead.
But yeah, no. So this means Alice has pretty much called it. All the data sets that existed before AI went live and started shitting out onto the internet are basically it. Like they can't, unless they manually by hand, which is not really feasible with the size of these data sets.
Imagine if we had people who developed AI do actual work. Fuck that.
Yeah. Imagine if you had to pay people to labour for you. What a fucking blow to Silicon Valley that would be.
I can't believe we've created an environment where Francis Fukuyama was right.
Looking over at Russia, nodding sagely.
Did you see him retweeting fucking footage from that like Russian coup yesterday and going like,
yeah,
for real? And it's like, yeah, he's back, motherfucker. Look out.
And this is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
I don't know if he cursed that because promptly they called the whole thing off, which makes me wonder. So
he's probably doing a crossover event with a true crime podcast. You know, when he said for reals, like, is this a real murder that I've just received in my house?
I think Henry Kissinger's got the market cornered on true crime there. But yeah, so no, it means that essentially AI, they're stuck with the current data sets they've got, and it's probably not going to have massive improvements in that way. They're not going to be able to like massively expand the data sets to get better models out of it.
Yeah, you say that, but like it's only a matter of time before Google pay the US Department of Justice to force prisoners to like write data sets or some shit.
Would that be a very particular subgenre of true crime?
Probably. There's probably like a crossover in there somewhere.
Fucking put a bullet in this, David. I'm done. I can't keep going. I've had enough.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Are we done here? Is it Rob's turn in the firing line?
No, not yet.
Insert tab A of this half into slot B of the second.
We've not finished. We've not finished. I have something else. No, we have not. So,
This is
right. So we do have an article read that we recorded a few days ago. So expect the vibe to harshly and immediately change. But before we do that, I was looking
also
for some
expect
comment.
this to be wildly out of date when it turns out like fucking nukes get dropped on Monday morning or something.
Yeah, well, whatever. While I was looking for some comment or commentary, I found an article It's something
it's
else.
It's a guide to life, I think, is a good way of putting it.
Yeah. That's so this comes from the Times by Martin Hemme. Grow woke and save your garden from cancel culture. It's gardening tips.
That gave me brain damage.
Why are we at a point now where we are... I mean, this is fucking AI, Ouroboros of AI headline generation, right? Because this is just the shit that's been going on for like the last 3 or 4 years now, just being dialed up to 11 and just like less and less and less sense being given with any of it.
Yeah, it's a crossover event between cat people and Kew Gardens.
Fuck off, Rob. Oh, right. I'm gonna start this off with the start of the pagans and druids and people with calendars among you will know.
Yes,
this goes out to all my druid fans.
We'll know that the solstice has passed and the nights are slowly drawing in. There's still plenty of time, however, to grab a cool evening drink, sit out on the patio, and enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells of your quintessential British garden.
Oh yes, let me just go out to the garden, that thing I have that everybody does.
Except the British garden is now a gory, body-strewn battlefield.
Is this another one of those true crime things?
Politics has broken into the potting shed. The culture war is creeping up your clematis. One false move with you...
The culture war's creeping up the backside, yeah. It's...
One false move with your trowel, and you can find yourself on the wrong side of history when it comes to colonialism and bees. Here's my guide to gardening without getting cancelled.
Colonialism and bees.
I think bees do tend to come in a colony.
So I'm not going to read the full thing.
Good.
But I'll just give you some excerpts. So first up is racist plants.
Go on.
At a time when all British aristos are doing a bit of DIY who do you think you are and finding out their ancestors got rich from slavery, it's only right we investigate the heritage of our plants too.
But that's all aristos are. They don't do DIY who do you think you are. That's the point of being an aristo. It's like you know that and you say my great-great-granddad got a big hat somewhere and therefore I have a big hat. That's the functionality of aristo since the dawn of time. It's not DIY new things. It's not a crossover event. This is just who they are. Fucking Christ.
Oh my god, this aristocrat found out that one of his ancestors was a cat.
It turns out a few slave traders like to bring a few exotic plants home from their travels. They'd already booked the transport after all.
Oh wow, that's funny. That's like a tee-hee.
So it's always worth checking the Latin name on the label in the garden centre in case that innocent-looking rose is actually a Rosa slavedrivus bastardus or similar.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we always used to call the plants in our garden centre, is like, you know, comedy Latinized English names.
I mean, you know, my dad would swear about the bastard roses, but I don't think that's what he had going on.
Next up, hose pipes.
This is just. I mean, like, they are just making this up to fill like page count. Why are we?
Oh
giving
no!
them...
Please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind.
Okay.
There is a payoff to that.
All right.
Hose pipes. Remember last summer when we were siphoning old bathwater out the window and onto rose beds?
No.
Were we?
No.
Apparently.
That's a way to kill your roses.
Well, although it seemed to rain all spring, and despite some great thunderstorms recently, we're sort of still meant to be doing that, with many parts of Britain, if not officially in drought, then at least a touch thirsty. Will you grass up your neighbour for sneaking down to her heucheras, flowers, fuck those, at 3 a.m. to give them a good illegal soaking?
She's doing what at 3 a.m.?
Waterboarding the plant. Well, not waterboarding because that's a good thing if it's the times. I've always thought the labels on most plants...
Does he have to, like... No, wait. Ow.
No.
All right, cool. No. Just everybody has a good illegal soaking. I'm sure that's something that's fine to go up before the watershed.
I've always thought the labels on most plants demanding most moist, well-drained soil seemed a bit needy. I love being wet, but also please take away the wet. So maybe plants need to sort out their wasteful attitude too.
This potted plant has given me loads of red flags.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here yelling at some petunias to just tell me what their needs.
The worst part of this bullshit is the guy clearly thinks he's funny.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's in love with himself. Plastic lawns. The subject of artificial lawns has become perhaps the most bitterly contested in the new garden politics. A conspiracy-filled zone that has somehow become entangled with such nebulous debates as climate change, low-traffic neighbourhoods, looking forward to the next episode, and vaccine efficacy.
Yeah, those three things, exactly the same. All three same nebulous debates. The climate emergency, insane 50-minute city people, and whether or not vaccines are turning you into your dead grandmother or some shit. What?
Yep. For some, artificial lawns are an abomination. A wanton abuse of the natural world equivalent to felling the Amazon. For others, they are the ultimate expression of personal liberty, the GB news of garden coverings. It's too dangerous for me to be dragged into this one.
Literature.
Yeah, so that's just where the Times is at the moment. There is one very, very small part at the very bottom that simply reads, Jeremy Clarkson is away. So yeah,
okay,
that's the Times B team.
B is very generous, but yeah, all right, cool.
Are they pro or anti B? I didn't know. I don't know where they landed on this in the end.
I don't fucking know, or particularly care.
Probably anti, because they're the people that have the guy that comes around to wash away all the dead flies and bees, right, off the windowsill.
Maybe they recycle them though.
There was a section about composting, but I'm not going to read it to find out. Okay, so we'll kill this here, and we will transport you back in time to our slightly younger, no, I was going to say slightly more hopeful, but that would be a lie, selves, but yeah.
Slightly less cooked.
Yes. Yes.
Go back to our underdone selves.
Yeah, so enjoy.
Welcome to Podcasting is Practice, the podcast that was left in the oven slightly too long.
So, moving on to just a fucking article. Just a fun little venture into the mind of the broken and the right wing and just generally fucking unhinged. This is the arrogant left are triumphant and think they have a mandate to destroy Britain.
Finally,
Heath in the Telegraph.
Finally, I'm seeing my opinions voiced in Britain's newspapers.
Yeah, and this is about Alistair Heath.
Oh,
in relation to Ted.
Alistair Heath. He's the last guy, like, after the bunker burned down and Hitler blew his brains out, who's like still trying to make Trussonomics a thing. That's him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy is hardcore for Liz Truss.
So probably in spirit, if nothing else.
Why not? Okay, these are the best of days for left-wing activists.
They were the best of times, they were the blurst of times.
Yeah. Opinion polls are predicting a landslide victory for Sir Keir Starmer, giving him carte blanche to implement policies that socialist ideologues have only dreamt of for years.
Oh, this is a deeply, deeply unserious individual. Then.
Yes.
Damning stuff from Jamie right there.
I'm just so fucking bored of it, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's mad because, like, he saw someone fucking protesting climate change or some shit, right? And, like, yeah, okay, that must have been horrifying for you, mate. Are you sure you'll survive? But on the other hand, like, don't tell me you work at the fucking, like, the Telegraph, was it?
Yeah.
As a politics writer, and you, like, do you know what I mean? You aren't aware of the fact that, like, fucking Keir Starmer will happily bend over backwards to say that all of these, like, people should be herded into fucking fields and shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, have you considered that there will be a tax raid on private schools, a war on the
there should be
dreaded
a fucking
non-doms?
air raid on them.
There should be more council homes and greater rights for workers and trade unions. Trade unions.
Oh, who's offering all this again?
Yeah, don't ask. Also, a ban on new North Sea oil and gas plants.
Yeah, but
all that's true and definitely going to happen.
Depending on which 8-minute period this was written, that one might be fair.
The hated Tories will be booted out of office and the Brexit humiliation avenged.
What?
Britain will remain in the ECHR. The Quangocrats and loyals will be back in total control, and the anti-woke skirmishes abandoned. The Blob and government will be united like never before.
Not the fucking Blob.
Jesus fucking
anything but the Blob.
The progressive revolution accelerated.
In a way, I guess he's right. Like, in the sense of the national security blob, they're fucking guys. Keir Starmer, surely.
I assumed that, you know, they were talking, that he was talking about minor X-Men villain, the Blob, and I assumed that, you know, that's gonna pose some real fucking problems for the Tories.
The woke blob that terrorised Steve McQueen.
The progressive revolution accelerated, and the last vestiges of conservative Britain consigned to the memory hole. All of this will happen under Keir Starmer.
But we can't get these fucking people out. Like, they're like fucking deer ticks. They're like fucking buried in. Is he going to get rid of the landed aristocracy? Are we going to finally send all the intellectuals to the countryside and break their glasses? Like, what?
The official Labour Party is trying to retain its composure. Neil Kinnock's premature victory dance in Sheffield in 1992 helped destroy his campaign.
Oh, Neil Kinnock is bad again now, is it? I thought Neil Kinnock was good. I was told for the last 2 fucking years.
Things have changed.
Look, if you're trying to scare Telegraph readers into thinking that, like, full communism is imminent, then everyone in Labour ever is, like, to the left of fucking Lenin.
I mean,
and should be feared.
I mean, in a way, this kind of speaks to the fucking idiocy of what the fucking Labour right
Telegraph
do, right?
readers.
Because, like, it doesn't matter how much Keir Starmer says we are the Tories from 2019, but for reals this time, like, dressed up in a flag and the weird, like, almost fascist Telegraph logo that they've decided to go with for some reason. Like,
yeah,
these people
almost is doing some heavy lifting there, like.
Well, whatever they do, like, they're always going to be seen as, like, you know, queero LG, the, like, alphabet mafia, like, socialists that are going to come and cut off the heads of everyone who's ever owned anything in their life. Like, it's just facile, really.
Yeah. On Twitter, in younger left-wing London circles, in the civil service, the charity sector, some businesses, and among the cultural elites, there is no such restraint. The mood is exuberant and triumphalism rife. Were you aware of this? I wasn't.
Wait. So is this like the Hoshaist version of John McTurnan that I haven't never fucking met? Like...
Liberation is coming.
We're building bunkers up and down the country.
Council bunkers at that. In 12 months,
Luke Akehurst, like, just cheering and jeering with his little flippers. Like, what the fuck is this?
The Labour Party wants to transfer your brain into that of the body of a dolphin.
Yeah. Fuck Labour, become Krang. Yeah.
In 12 months, 15 at the latest, Labour will be back in number 10. As power drains from the Tory party. And you go.
No, it's just I'm lost for fucking words at this point.
Yeah. As power drains from the Tory party, Whitehall mandarins are already winding down. Some left-wing broadcasters aren't bothering much with balance. CVs are being dusted off. There will be a revolving door between left-wing organisations such as Oxfam or Extinction Rebellion and government departments.
Yeah, but don't worry about it.
Unless they were fucking Labour students, I don't think so. Well, Labour students or a fucking, like, secondment from, like, the worst company that you've ever heard of.
But I love the idea that Oxfam is, like, crazy, loony left-wing. Fucking Oxfam.
Yes. I mean, do those people they feed, like, work for their living? No, they don't.
The Vanguard theory, but for Oxfam. Yeah, that's definitely how that works.
There is much excited talk of when we will start rejoining the EU brackets and lots of irritation at Starmer's sensible refusal to countenance membership of the single market or customs union.
Look, hot tip, just block Femi on Twitter and then you don't see these texts anymore. It's that easy. This one weird trick, I fucking promise you.
Of constitutional and voting reform and of why Britain is on the cusp of a 1968 style shift towards a permanently more left-wing culture. We all became more left-wing after 1968. Did you know that? Nothing happened after that. They shifted it back the other way.
The return of the days of the Paris Commune, but this time it's what? It's what, like, paid for student accommodation in Sheffield. Like, we're gonna fucking man the barracks. Like, we're gonna, you know, we'll resurrect Jacques Derrida to, like, come out of his grave and, like, postmodern the fuck out of Edward Heath in, like, a public arena. All right, cool. What?
I'm loving this array of things that Rob's been name dropping so far. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is mostly delusional, ideological overreach.
Yes, I would say that a lot of this is quite delusional. This so far we agree upon.
Oh, not him. The stuff of overexcited minds who have misunderstood the causes of the Tory party's demise and who believe their own propaganda.
Well, correct.
Yes. The Tories are hugely unpopular, but that doesn't mean that the country has suddenly gone fully socialist and woke, or that it has fallen in love with Labour.
Yep.
Yes, Britain's institutions, economy and public services are dysfunctional, but that doesn't signify that Starmer's crew have any real idea how to fix them.
Oh, there's a nugget of truth in there.
Yeah, we get to the fun part where he's, like, somehow right, but also incredibly fucking wrong. What has happened is quite simple. The public is sick of the Tories and is turning to His Majesty's opposition to sort out the mess. Labour is being hired unenthusiastically on the equivalent of an extended trial period. Left-wing activists who are hearing something else are lying to themselves.
Correct.
But no left-wing activists are thinking that this is a good thing.
Yeah, but in his brain, like, Femi is a left-wing activist.
Oh. Starmer may end up with a majority that is almost as large as Tony Blair's, but for very different reasons. Blair was mostly to the right of the present Tories. His charisma, youthfulness, and ability to ride the cultural zeitgeist made him, at first, extremely popular.
Yeah, and then some other things happened.
He won the 1997 election just as much as the tired, sleazy Tories lost it. There was a genuine Blair fervour in sections of Middle England.
How was that not fucking out? Like, they didn't both win it.
He even won a plurality of pensioners. Many believe that this was a moment for ideological, cultural and social modernisation, and that New Labour...
Oh, how they were wrong.
And that New Labour was
shit.
the ideal combination of left and right, of capitalism and higher public spending.
Red and brown together at last.
The current circumstances are diametrically different. The overriding public feeling is one of disgust at the Tories, who are widely seen as having broken numerous promises, failed to deliver, and bequeathed a nation where nothing works. Yep, that's just the Tories.
Yeah, can't wait for the guy who, promised, like, 5 minutes ago that he said, oh yeah, no new oil and gas licenses except for all the stuff where somebody's already filled in some paperwork. That shit we're going to keep. Why? Because reasons. Fuck you.
Yeah, just another 25 years of it. It's fine. Leave voters thought that Brexit and Boris would bring about the change they hoped for. But, in a staggering display of incompetence and cowardice, the Tories let them down. There is little ardour for Starmer. His victory will come by default, because it's time for a change and we might as well give him a go, and because he has successfully purged the Corbynites.
I mean, apart from that Corbynite bit, like, he is fundamentally correct in that. And then where does the rest of his, brain just, like, sort of turn off, to, like, turn left, Dale? No. Like...
I mean, Rob, to be honest, Rob, you're the Corbyn part or Corbynite part is very relevant, because it is the part that means that the media sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, these guys are
fine,
not
actually.
all bad."
Yeah,
we will grumble about like the fucking window dressing and go on about woke shit, but we won't start digging through a bunch of files from like the GDR about how Keir Starmer tried to defend, I don't know,
something cool,
Berlusconi.
Yeah, but weird that the GDR has documents on that.
Many left-wing activists misinterpret all of this. So, bear in mind that's including the purge here. They believe that Labour's popularity is due to a massive ideological shift, while in fact the opposite is true. They misread polls demonstrating regret as signifying a genuine desire to rejoin the EU. As opposed to anger at the botched execution. They incorrectly believe that the public now wants a very liberal immigration policy.
That's not on offer! Like, Starmer's like 5 minutes away from fucking seeing the Horse Vessellied on the beach at Dover. Like...
Brackets, the truth is complex tonight, honestly. As a result of Ukraine and labour shortages, but most people still want fewer migrants, close brackets. They are convinced.
Most people...
to this guy, more liberal immigration policy means we won't put them on a fucking prison barge. Like, I mean, whether or not that is even something that I think Starmer, if he promised not to do that, he would stick to, very much up for debate. But that is the impression that this fucking freak gets.
They are convinced Middle England is comfortable with paying ever more taxes. Brackets, they are not. They will interpret
I speak
their
with the authority of a nation.
Yeah.
Just the middle bit.
I have awakened the spirit of Wokington man within me.
They will interpret their victory as giving the elites free rein to socially engineer us, to control and command us.
Yes!
Yeah, that's our job.
That's what... Yeah.
Yeah, we're meant to have free reign over every single piece of the media. Like, there's definitely never not been a long march through the institutions in order to install a bunch of fucking Tory headbangers into like every single cultural institution in order to enforce what is essentially just an extraordinarily right-wing ideology that encompasses everything from immigration, tax policy, trans rights, etc., etc., etc. We've definitely not been doing this for the entirety of the time that the Tories have been in power, and it's really, really unfair that anyone should even try and vaguely dismantle this in any way, not that Keir Starmer will.
I mean, you say all that, Alistair, but speaking personally, as someone who's looking forward to being controlled and commanded, I personally am very much keen to join the Brotherhood of Nords, so yeah.
All right, James, calm down.
Yeah, this is...
Yet much of the net zero agenda will turn out to be extremely unpopular.
They
Labour
ditched
will
that.
Get the blame.
They took it out back and put a bullet in its fucking head like 2 days ago.
Only a small, extreme minority support intensifying the war on cars.
The war
for
on
example,
cars. All right. Jesus, all right.
Dutch-style assault on farming. Or reducing...
Oh, Jesus Christ, how can you get this many things wrong in like one single fucking paragraph? This is
must be reading the Telegraph.
Organized...
I want to know, who do I have to sign up with to get a rocket launcher in the war on cars?
Are we going to be dropping like fucking, light rail and trams behind enemy lines, just like kerplunk, and all of a sudden, like, you don't live... What's going on? Why is he doing this to me? What?
I mean, to be fair, Rob, it would be amazing to like carpet bomb the entirety of the landmass between Manchester and Liverpool with like just a whole ton of fucking railway, like come what may.
Just like driving down the M25 and all of a sudden like parts of the Eurostar start like cratering in front of you. It's like,
or reducing commercial airline flights, or blocking the construction of all new roads, as the Welsh Government has done. The real-world implementations of critical race theory and radical gender ideologies are equally unpopular.
Just the fucking gear change there is incredible.
But we have Rosie Duffield at home. Like...
What? And it's still not enough for this freak. It's still not enough.
It never will
She can align herself with some extraordinarily evil people, like people who are literally reading out of Nazi books, right? And that is still not enough for this fucking guy to think that the Alphabet Mafia are coming for him.
Does he Does he think that that like trans people are like foxes? They just can't wait to get into his bins. Like what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know. Like to understand his mind to that degree is dangerous, so I shan't be going there. He continues, Labour's greatest problem is that the public wants Britain fixed, but Starmer has little to offer other than more of the same.
Yes, correct.
Yes. He has no radical ideas to reform the broken NHS, or to fix the police, or to pay for social care, or to ensure energy security. His green transformation plan is unaffordable, which has now been identified and resolved by Rachel Reeves, you're welcome, and in any case, spending billions on wind farms, insulating homes, building battery factories and accelerating Britain's nuclear programme is little different to what the Tories will propose and won't turbocharge growth. The jury remains open on his house building plans, but so far they don't look truly radical.
Yeah, I mean, sure, like, you won't achieve anything if you decide to do everything in the worst conceivable way, like farming out, building critical infrastructure like power and housing to the fucking private sector, because all they do is they take every single fucking penny that they can and bilk the government for every single piece of the project. It is just so amazing that his analysis is essentially right, but like we've said, for very stupid reasons.
Perhaps most ominously, Labour's fiscal assumptions are nonsensical and could end up precipitating an early crisis.
Yes, correct.
An early crisis. Yeah, we don't want the crisis any sooner than we have to.
It's early crisis.
Not one crisis. Not one crisis. I've gotten used to having myriad crises at the same time.
Is early crisis some sort of Victorian euphemism for just coming, or is it?
No, it's a prequel to Time Crisis.
The tax increases announced will not pay for the spending promised, let alone the billions
we need
extra.
More taxes, then.
Let alone the billions extra they will end up handing out to the welfare state. The public finances are already strained, and guilt yields at high levels.
I'm now that fucking angry goose from the memes running after him. By whom, motherfucker?
Labour will end up jacking up tax even further.
Yeah, Labour
will be hit again.
Labour will end up jacking. That's why we get to that whole Victorian thing we were just talking about.
The early crisis. Growth will be hit again as incentives are eroded and the brain drain intensifies. Labels activists are mistaking a
Labour
rejection.
will invite the illithids in. Yes, that's true.
Labour's activists are mistaking a rejection of the Tories for an embrace of socialism,
of the mind flayers, yes, 100%.
and wokery.
Yes, the mind flayers are coming, and now soon we will need the orcas and the fish people to come save us. They're mortal enemies.
They have forgotten that hubris inevitably leads to nemesis.
Wow. That's so deep. Wow.
What if that?
You only get this caliber of fucking journalism in the Telegraph. I must pick up the next issue.
Oh dear, that was it. That was the article. Just fucking wild.
What a fucking cunt.
He had another more recent article that I didn't pick, which was titled "There's a mortgage catastrophe coming, and it will prove Liz Truss right." So, like, you can fully see what kind of guy he is. But yeah, fucking just incredibly powerful. This is where they are with their
he's
their
a
ideological
low tax
reasoning.
kind of guy, I imagine.
Well, he's not low tax enough, let's put it that way.
He is probably on that $10 a biscuit like trip though. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Fuck's sake.
I hope this guy's like the owner of some like third-rate fucking forum somewhere. That'd be amazing.
Conservative
So
woman.
we'll leave it. Oh, right, we'll leave it there. That'll do us for tonight. So we will catch you all on the bonus episode, which will be dropping very, very soon, if not already. And if you can get that, patreon.com/praxiscast. Check out the Twitch streams, twitch.tv/praxiscast Wednesday and Thursday evenings. And also you can buy merch, praxiscast.tmail.com. And yeah, we will catch you all after. Cheerio.
Hey,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.